Absolutely. Okay. Also, I'm sure for the next 3 to 4 minutes, people will start hopping on. So if I seem distracted, it's because I'm admitting a bunch of people. But anyway, one of the things that I want to talk to, well, pretty much the main thing I want to talk to you guys about as we end September, enter into October, and as we launch a completely new program, really, a system, if you want to call it, and I think that a lot of us are all in agreement that September has definitely been weird, right? I think it's been like this. I hesitate even using the word bad because it's been a growth period, right? The same way, like it sounds super corny, but the same way a butterfly would look at their cocoon like a coffin, right? It's not bad, but it probably feels that way, right? I want to validate that it probably doesn't feel super comfortable and super good. And you're like, yay, growth is happening. You're probably like, this sucks and this is uncomfortable and I don't like it, right? So I want to let you know that I do hear that, validate it, feel it, totally understand. Um, but I also feel like number one, we are in control of that feeling based on what we do or what we don't do. And there's hope in that because how we show up, how we nurture our dreams with our actions, I think speaks volumes about how we can determine, not control, but determine the outcome of where we want to be and what we want to achieve. Will we achieve those goals and will they actualize in 30 days? I mean, maybe for some of your goals, I don't know, but sitting around and thinking to ourselves, man, I wish it was better. Man, I wish this was different. Man, whatever. The more energy we waste thinking about that, the less energy goes towards actually fixing it. Right. And I'm just as guilty of this. This is not like me prescribing this to you guys, like you guys need to fix this because I'm awesome. That's not the case because I'm absolutely just as guilty of that. Sometimes you can look at the things that don't feel like they're going right. You can look at business being slower. You can look at the economy. You can look at the state of the world. You can look at, all these political like things that can distract you and all the stuff, all the things, right? And allow it to really kind of eat away at your mental state and just kind of distract you or overwhelm you and burden you essentially. And I just kind of feel, I don't know if I'm alone in this. I don't think I'm alone, but I feel like there's new breath being breathed into us or breathed into the team or me or the industry or whatever. I feel like it's coming and I feel like we're on this awesome, sorry, life with Bernese Mountain Dogs, hair everywhere in my mouth. That there are big things coming and I feel like we need to be ready for them. And I don't say that to like scare you, but almost like scare you in a good way, I guess. like be ready because I know we've talked about this before, but you can't collect the blessings if your hands aren't out to receive. Okay. So it's one of those things where if you're sitting down and you're waiting for the answer, if you're sitting down and waiting for somebody to pick up your hand and lead you there, if you're waiting for a sign, if you're waiting for, I don't know, right? Then you're going to miss out on whatever blessings are coming, whatever that looks like for you, for your business, for your dreams, for your team, everything. And it really does, I think, boil down to how open are you? How coachable are you? How hungry are you? I got a good taste earlier when I was talking to some of you guys in the chat about how hungry you are. And Toby was spitting some fire, which he normally does, but it was absolutely awesome. So I don't know if you guys have time to go back in the chat and look at that, but it was great. And I think that a lot of us have this moment where we need to have some self accountability, every single one of us, to be like, my business isn't growing because of what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. Absolutely. Point blank. Tracy does not influence my business. Melissa does not influence my business. Rose does not influence my business, right? Like, we're all building our own businesses parallel to one another. And we're also lucky enough to have people ahead of us who have done it before to help us. That's pretty much all that it is. So if you're looking to your downline to pretty much do it for you, or looking to your upline to do it for you, you're already missing the ball. This is your business. This is my business, and we need to run it as such. And I think the moment we kind of have that mentality shift, and the moment we begin saying like, oh, holy crap, my paycheck is based on what I am and am not doing, right? So am I going live? Am I reaching out to people? Am I connecting in groups and networking? Am I setting up, funnels? Am I doing IGTVs? Am I in Clubhouse? Am I doing what I want my paychecks to reflect? No. I can't answer that for me. I can answer that for all of you. No. So yesterday when we looked at our checks and we were all like, wah, wah, or maybe we were like, woohoo, either way, it's a direct reflection of what you are or are not doing. And I know that if I look at what I'm doing now today compared to what I was doing a year ago, they're not the same. They're not the same. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can say that. Is what you were doing today the same as what you were doing 5-6 months ago when you were growing, a year ago when you were growing, if you were here that long? Some of you guys haven't been here that long. And the answer is no. And I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and one of the things was talking about take your goal, your short-term goal paycheck, whatever it is. Like, do you want to hit that comma check? Do you want to hit that $5,000 a week check? Whatever it is, right? I want you to take that and I want you to break it down by how many hours you work your business, right? 20, 30, 5, whatever. And that is your hourly rate. That's what you do make an hour, or what you will make an hour, depending on what you want to do. If you want to break down your check now, I say break down the check that you want to have, because you have to live in the future, right? Because you have to claim it and make it and then go get it. So what is that ideal check, the ideal weekly check that you want to get? Like short term, like thinking in 3 months, do you want to start getting $1,800 weekly checks? Do you want to start getting $5,000 weekly checks? What is that you want? Okay. And then I want you to take that number and I want you to divide it by how many hours you commit every week to your business. Everyone is different. So a safe number is to say 40, but I'm just going to say 40 just because, right? It's like a full-time job. How much you make per hour. Now I want you to think, okay, that's how many hours, or that's how much you make per hour. Now, how much of that time are you wasting doing things that aren't making you that money? Because you obviously don't have that check right now, right? So all of those hours, right? So let's say it breaks down to like 120 an hour or $300 an hour or $800 an hour or whatever, right? All the things that you're not doing to work your business are costing you that much per hour. So if you're watching, and I'm not saying, don't take this in like a black and white, like never watch a movie, never watch a show, never spend time with your spouse. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying all the things that you do, right? Like you watch that movie, you scroll on TikTok, you do all these things, right? Total up that amount of time, that's how much money you're wasting. Because that dollar amount is tied to that hour. And that's the reason, along with a couple other things, but that's the reason you don't have what you have right now. You don't have the checks that you have. You're wasting all of those hours doing these other activities, and maybe some of them masquerade as income producing activities. Maybe some of them feel like income producing activities, but are they producing you income? Because that would be the definition, right? An income producing activity. So if you're doing all these IPAs and you've done them consistently for a couple weeks, a couple months, and you're not seeing the growth that you want, honey, they're not income producing. And you need to fix that, right? So you're like, I listen to like podcasts for like 8 hours a day. Well, unless you become a paid podcast connoisseur, it's probably not in your best interest to listen to that many. Unless, again, when you do listen to that many, you take action and you make money. Then it's income producing, isn't it? But if you do that all the time, you're like, I'm just listening to all the podcasts, Courtney, I'm reading all the books, and I'm going to all the courses, and nothing's happening. Well, it's not income producing at that point. Scale it back. Start doing other things. You know, and I'll say this till freaking cows come home. And I know this, and it's just me being a whiny 4-year-old, right? Lives, I do better when I do more lives. You're like, Courtney, I haven't seen you gone live in how long? I know, right? It's just like, I know what helps me lose weight. Do I do it every day? No. We all know that there's lots of things that we should be doing or could be doing or that give us a certain result, but are we doing them? No. So I want you to think of that. I want you to have that check in mind, write it somewhere, put it on your phone, whatever. You know how much your hours are worth now, right? Because you may think, well, they're not worth that much right now. The hell they are, because your checks are made now. You just go collect them later, right? I remember when I worked like a regular 9 to 5, I put in the hours first, then I got the check, right? So that's just kind of how it goes. You put in the work now, you get the check later. So technically your time is worth that right now, but you're never going to collect the check if you keep wasting the money on it. If you keep wasting like the money, the time, if you keep wasting the time. Which leads me into this next piece, which is we want to help you leverage as much as you can. Leverage is an entrepreneur's best friend. The entrepreneur with the most leverage makes the most money, because the CEO of McDonald's is not working the counter handing you your McFlurry, is he? No, because he is leveraging people, he is leveraging systems, he is leveraging time. But the little mom and pop shop down the street, Ethel isn't leveraging her time because she's scooping your ice cream cones, right? She's not leveraging anything. She's still exchanging her time for money. And so her income is capped on how many scoops she can scoop in a day, right? It's the same thing with your time. I don't care if you have fire fingers and you can send 1,200 prospecting messages a day. There is still a cap to that. There's still a cap to what you are physically capable of, right? So what we're doing is we're helping to implement and put something in place that truly does leverage your time by leveraging systems. And I know that when we talk about systems and we talk about automation and we talk about funnels, most people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. This feels really foreign to me. This feels really scary. This feels really overwhelming. I already don't know what you're talking about. It's Japanese. And I understand that. However, one of the things that we're doing is these are systems, you're not having to build the system. The system will be done for you. How many of you guys can send a link? Then you know how to use the funnel. Okay, there you go. So I hope I just put all of your minds at ease. If you can send a link, you can use the funnel. But here's also what I want to tell you. All of you guys are using funnels right now in your business every single day. How many of you guys make posts on Facebook? That's a funnel. It's a broadcast funnel, but it's a funnel, right? Because here's why it's a broadcast funnel, okay? Because you make a post. So the idea of a funnel, right, we know it goes like this, is to catch as many people as possible. Well, do your Facebook posts reach as many people as possible? No, they reach out to your friends list. And better yet, they only reach out to your friends list that you engage with the most. So your funnel is like this. Your funnel looked like a straw, basically. But imagine at the end of the straw, someone pinched it off, right? It reminds me of trying to drink a Wendy's Frosty. You don't drink it. That's why they give you a spoon. But they used to give straws. You'd be like, and like the bottom would like suck itself in and you couldn't get none. So like that's what your funnel looks like right now. Okay. Because it's capped. It's capped at how many posts you can make. It's capped at how many RCMs you can send. Are you seriously eating your Frosty, Rachel? Shut up. You were not. She seriously is. That was almost prophetic. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like
I literally saw before you started speaking, I was pulling around in the drive-thru, and this is gonna sound crazy. I have a God number, and I saw it right before you started talking. I'm like, oh, I think I should be listening to her. And then I was literally eating with the spoon, thinking they didn't give me a straw. And you're like, yeah, you know how you have a Frosty? And I'm like, shut up. So yeah,
God works in mysterious ways, even through Frosty. Like, yeah,
he does.
That's awesome. So we know we're on the right track, guys. See, no need to be fearful of funnels because God said it's just like a Frosty, right? It's like it's a sign. And so we want to help you guys leverage, because right now you're not leveraging anything. You are still exchanging your skill, your knowledge, your effort, your energy, maybe even your money, and hoping to get something back. Right? And so we're going to replace that, or hold on, we're going to supplement that. Right? I almost want you to think of this funnel is like Thrive, but for your business. All right. So like Thrive doesn't take away from the fact that you should still eat healthy and you should still work out, right? So you should still be posting and sharing and creating content and adding value. You should still be doing all those things. But this system is like Thrive. It's like a supplement. It enhances it. It makes it better. It gives it more energy, right? It helps improve its functioning. And what I'm talking about is right now, it seems really, really simple, but it's going to build itself out over time. But this link, and in time, it will have a lot more, is you can have on your link tree, on your Facebook, wherever you want to put it, one link where people who are interested can go watch a video that talks about our opportunity, our team, that addresses objections, things like that. They then can say, oh, I like that. Or they can go, nah, doesn't sound like it's for me, right? They weed themselves out, and then you're stuck with semi-qualified people. Those semi-qualified people go somewhere else where they can then qualify themselves more, right? They can then say, okay, I think I'm curious. This video has piqued my curiosity. Okay. So they went from interested to curious, and our job is to get them from curious to serious, or weed out the people who are not, right? So I know a lot of you guys, right, we removed the I'm not techie, this is going to overwhelm me objection. Now let's talk about removing the human element, right? How many of you guys are afraid that with automation and all this stuff, we're going to lose that really vital human connection piece that we feel like is so crucial to network marketing or just to business, or what separates us from others, right? I'm like doing this, but like as a red, I'm kind of like, not really. I really kind of Toby's like, not really, I don't really give a shit, but all the yellows are like, me, I'm like really scared of that. And that's okay. That's okay. It's an okay thing to be afraid of, right? It's part of who you are. It's part of your superpower. You're probably thinking, if you take away my superpower, how am I going to attract people? How am I going to keep people, right? She's like, I don't even understand the answer. And so what we're doing is we're not removing the human element, we are refining it. We are refining it so that you are taking that skill that you have and you're using it on the right people. We want to make sure that your gift of speaking isn't falling on deaf ears. We want to make sure that the people at the other end of the funnel have working ears, right? We want to make sure that they're open and receptive to what you have to say, so that your superpower can, like, it's like putting gasoline on it. Okay. I don't know what makes superpowers better. That was a horrible analogy, but I don't know what makes superpowers better. Okay. So basically, I know a lot of people get really frustrated when they talk to the wrong people, right? You talk to them, you send voice clips, you're messaging, and you're like, oh, these people are totally, it's totally, not right now. It's totally it. And then they ghost you, or then they don't get back to you. And then you're wasting more time following up with them because you're trying to be nice and you're like, oh, they probably just got busy. They probably just forgot. You know, I do the same thing, right? You start making rationalizations for their behavior, right? And then you keep reaching back out and reaching back out for them to finally either block you or be like, no, I just don't think right now is the right time, or no, my spouse said no, or whatever, right? And you're like, again, going back to the analogy of how much is your time worth? You just spent people, what was it? It was like people are either liabilities or investments. Okay. So when you're thinking of spending that hour talking to somebody, right? And you have that dollar amount, how much is your time worth? How much is that hour of your life worth, that check that you want? $300 an hour, $150 an hour. You just dumped $150 into that liability, meaning it's gone. 107 an hour. So Tracy talked to somebody. She was talking about the chickens. They're like, oh my God, it's so cute. I love the chickens. She's like, how about Thrive, girl? How about Thrive? And they're like, oh, the chickens and whatever, right? She's like, oh, I think I might be interested. And she's talking and talking and talking. And the girl's leading her on. She's like, I don't know. It seems expensive, right? Tracy spends an hour doing that. She dumped $107 into this person and will never get it back. What this system does is this system weeds out the majority of those people. So by the time you're chatting with people, those are all assets. Those are all investments. These are all investment opportunities. These are people who have said, I've watched the video and I liked it. I got the emails and they spoke to me. I got the call to action that said, I am ready. And I clicked it. So here I am. Right? So the only people that are connecting with you, if you're doing it right, are people who are clicking that call to action saying, I am ready. And I've already done the other stuff, all those things that you voice clip and all those things that you tell and all those things that you send and all the, they've already gone through that. They can do it when they're sitting in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. They don't need you. You do not need to be present to explain to them about the opportunity. Why? This can do it for them. I mean, if you want to, go for it, right? So we're not removing the human element, we are refining it so that by the time they get to you, you can work your magic. You can work your magic. And guess what? You're not overcoming objections anymore for the most part. They may have some hesitations and some fears, but you can just be like, I'm going to coach you through that. That's what this system is for. The system that you went through, you're going to have access to that. The moment you become a promoter, the link is yours and you can start sending people that, and you have funnels and leads like that if you use it right. So that's just kind of the overarching message that I wanted to send, which was I really do think that moving forward, to avoid that burnout feeling that a lot of us have, to avoid that defeating feeling that a lot of us are deferring, like that defeated feeling of like, I'm talking to all the people and I'm making all the posts and I'm doing all the messages and I'm making all these freaking reels and TikTokies, whatever, and I'm not getting nobody. And it's frustrating, right? And so you keep thinking, I don't want to do it anymore. Like not even necessarily the I don't want to do Lavelle anymore, but like you don't want to go through the motions. You don't want to do all the stuff, right? And so you back off and you don't do it. Well, that doesn't make it any better, right? But I think it's all about the key for us, I think moving forward will be leveraging systems like this, leveraging other people. So using other people's geniuses when we want to do things, if we want to create stuff. And that's just the kind of the key word that I want everyone to take away is leverage. I really want you, if you want that check, you know how much per hour that you will make. And I always want you to think to yourself when you're picking up your phone, when you're sitting on the couch, when you're going to do your IPAs, is this an asset or is this a liability? Am I going to make money or is this going to cost me money? So that way you're always investing in the future to create that check and make it a reality for you. So one of those systems that we talked about, so not only will they have an opportunity video to watch that will funnel them into like, it's called lead nurture, meaning like they've already said yes and now we're kind of like warming them up. They're getting either some emails or some content that's like, ooh, like little appetizers. And then from there, they have the opportunity to connect with you. I'm going to encourage you guys to set up a free Calendly, okay? Because you can, it's free if you want to have like one session. And you just put in your week's availability and you can change it from day to day. You can change it from week to week. And here's why I say this. Because again, when people have gone through that funnel and they say, I'm ready, and you want to connect with them so you can walk them through ordering, right? You just send them your Calendly link and then they pick a time and day. You don't have to say, hey, I'm free tomorrow at like 5:30. Are you? And they're like, well, 5:30 is like dinner time. And what about like 7? You're like, well, I'm not free at set. It eliminates that too. Right? I'm not just gonna save y'all dollars. I'm gonna save y'all cents too. Like we saving all the monies, all the dollars, all the times around here. Okay, like all that time adds up. You going back and forth trying to find a time to have a three-way call, three-way chat, and then a week later you're like, oh, we still need to schedule that. If you just have a link and you say, here's my availability, just pick a time. Then it sends you a notification. Hey, Toby booked a time with you Tuesday at 7:30 for 15 minutes. Boom. Awesome. Right? You walk them through ordering, then what do? You plug them into our new onboarding system, which hopefully every single one of you has right now, right? If you do not have it, please go into the Thrive Army chat and get that link. You will want to be in it or a part of it, number one, because that's where we are going to be funneling a lot of our training material, a lot of our training videos, almost everything. So you have a one-stop shop for everything in like a organized fashion, and every single new person that you add has access to that too. Okay. So essentially what that is you're like, awesome, welcome to the fam. Start your training program. They'll be walked through training videos. Like I'm talking like little itty bitty baby bites. And if you are in the program, if you're going through it right now, you know, they're like 2-minute videos, 3-minute videos, little resources, descriptions. Like these are like little teeny tiny things. And in there, after each module, it'll say, awesome, check in with your upline. And so you'll know when they're going through it because they'll be reaching out to you. Hey, you just finished module 1. Awesome. Another really cool thing is that they cannot skip ahead and access other trainings until they have completed the one before. So they cannot move on to how to become a 4K and 12K and become a leader in social media, and they can't get overwhelmed and distracted because they can only see one thing at a time. Okay. So I'm going to try to pull it up so some of you guys who don't have it yet know what it looks like. But this essentially is going to replace ideally replace the when do we do this? How do we do that? What time is that at? Right? All those kinds of things. And again, you don't need to be the expert. You may not know the difference between PPA, PV, QV, like all those things. But guess what? The onboarding training does. And you may think to yourself, well, I don't really mean this. I know these things. Cool. But can you imagine how useful this is for the new person you sign up tomorrow to plug their new person into this? because, right, you gotta think people in VIP, they're babies and they enroll other promoters who are also babies. It's the blind leading the blind, right? And when it's the blind leading the blind, they need you to do it for them. And that's where you start to feel overwhelmed, right? Because if you're signing up lots of people or even like 2 or 3 people, you're juggling a lot. Even signing on like 2 people is a lot because they're each trying to get 4 people plus their customers. And you're like, oh my gosh, because they don't know how to do anything. And we've all been there. So if anyone's new, I don't see anyone super new. So, but again, what do? They don't need to necessarily get you in a 3-way chat like right away. Why? They're showing the opportunity video. The people are going through the funnel. Then they're going to reach out and connect with you guys on your welcome call. And then they're going to be put in the onboarding system. Boom. That way, all we have to do is show up and have fun and lead and pour into people. That's what we're here for, right? The systems can do the other stuff. Sorry, I got distracted trying to open this up. Preview, there we go. Okay, now screen share. Sorry, I'm juggling like 7 screens at once. Here we go. So I gotta move it. So this is what it looks like. It will have obviously their name. It will say what percentage they've completed, but this is what they have for module 1 right here. As you can see, all of these other ones are locked. They cannot click it. They cannot get to it. They can only do these ones right here. And it walks them through everything step by step. This is a video, that's a video, that's a video. So, and everything is like a 2 or 3 minute video. It's not overwhelming. It's super quick, to the point. They're not sitting there watching a 45-minute training because we know nobody does that, right? They're just like, how do I find my referral link? Boom, it's right there. They don't have to watch a 15-minute video to figure out where they find it. We have some visuals for them. We have some takeaways, all kinds of really awesome things. But this is essentially our onboarding process. For people who don't know what that means, it's basically like when you sign up somebody new, this is how it's almost like handing them their training manual. So for those of you guys who have had a job, when you're brand new, you go through like orientation. That's kind of the same thing as onboarding. Onboarding and orientation, kind of the same thing. So this essentially is what we will be doing. I know a couple months back, people were asking for some simplicity and one location to keep all of our stuff. Rachel found this awesome Linktree thing, which was fantastic. One of the really cool things that we'll be able to do in here is basically transpose what's in that Linktree and put it all in here. And it's a living, breathing program, course, document, whatever, because as we create new trainings, they'll be loaded in there. So we will still have the YouTube channel and things like that for people who want to access it, but essentially all of our trainings, all of our resources will be categorized in here, like housed in this like library for them. But again, the library is not going to be overwhelming for new people because they can only see this much of it, right? And then the people who are seeing everything are like the veteran promoters who have gone through everything and they're trained and they're not necessarily overwhelmed by it because they're like, they've grown up in it, right? Do you guys have any questions right now? Or sorry, my dogs are leaning up against the door and their asses are opening it, but they don't realize it. Their butts are like leaning into it. But
any questions, but I do have a suggestion.
Hold on. There you
go. Whenever we did the first links that we did, can you hear me? No?
Yeah.
I forgot this thing was plugged in. Can you hear me? Okay. I didn't know if it was still working. Anyway.
He's official.
Whenever yeah, it's kind of a big deal, guys. It's okay. When we first got promoter links, I went into my notes and I made one called promoter links. And I literally just put all of the links right there with like a little description under what they are so that I can have them saved to send to other people. So I've just added this link into here. So you want to save it on your phone. That way you're not like, I don't know. Everybody else has probably already known this, but I didn't know this. I had to ask for the links like 75 times and Courtney got really mad at me. So then I learned to save them in my notes. So save them in your notes and then you don't have to worry about it. And Courtney doesn't have to get mad at you. I'm throwing a
True. um, so yeah, you can just, and we'll still use some of the other links that we access now. It will just be in a more streamlined fashion. So one link leads to another, and then they qualify themselves to go to another, to another. So they're still being used, but they're being used on autopilot, if that makes sense. So like, you don't have to be like, oh yeah, like, let me get you this link. And then they're like, okay, I did this part. And you're like, oh, let me get you that link. You give them one link and it walks them all the way through. Then they're like, I'm ready to order. We're going to do this. You walk them through ordering, and then you just need the other link to connect them to the resources. Basically my goal, and I know that there's a lot of reluctance, not even just here, but in the industry of network marketing. Okay. So don't think like it's just you guys, to progress towards the future with certain things, right? And like we talked about it before, people are always like, don't reinvent the wheel and whatever. And I agree 100%. I'm not over here trying to make the wheel square, right? However, the wheels do need to evolve with the changing roads and cars and their capabilities. Also, we're competing with industries online that are so much more simple and attractive than the old school way of network marketing, right? There are now so many more ways ever since, I mean, these were around before, but ever since the start, you know, of coronavirus, and people have been locked in their houses and they've been exploring new ways to make money online, it has exploded, right? Like drop shipping and KDP publishing on Amazon, all these super easy things that people can do to make money online. We're competing with that. And when people are like, oh, I can create something on Canva, upload it to KDP and publish it to Amazon and make money, that seems a whole lot simpler than you trying to pitch them on the idea of selling a product, sending prospecting messages, posting, going live, doing this, doing that, blah, 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 blah. Right? They're like, that sounds like too much work. Right? And so to future-proof our business, we really do have to step into the marketing part of network marketers. For a long, long time, network marketers have been able to lean into the networking part, and it made them a lot of money. Now, with the progression of just where things are going online and the trends and what we're having to do to keep up with the market, we now have to begin to learn marketing things. And I know that's scary to a lot of people, because like, I don't know anything about like marketing or leads or funnels or SEO or all these things. They're just so foreign to me. So some of our focus will be on marketing. Now, we're not going to, you know, try to turn you guys into, you know, professional marketers who can go SEO, landing page, and blah, 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 like all this stuff. But we do want to give you enough knowledge to be dangerous, to be able to compete with the things that are out there. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm distracted by the chat. Everyone take it. It's a great idea. What is it, Tracy?
She was talking about doing the course herself. She was talking about doing the course herself. Sorry, I sent the wrong thing. And
okay. I was like, wait. You want to tell the whole
still, are you still using the texting thing for the text team thing?
No, we stopped it because a lot of people, no, we stopped doing that because a lot of people weren't using it, and it was costing me like $300 to send the text every month to people who weren't using them. Because it doesn't matter who opens it, it only matters who I send them to. But eventually when we get back to that point, we can use that, because that's down the road. Bots for like either texting or for the Facebook groups, or things that can answer questions for us and all this stuff. I don't want to overwhelm people. My brain has a tendency to be like, oh, like snowball, and then people are like, whoa. So we'll stop at that.
You're fine. I just wanted to update my note thing before I sent it in Thrive Army.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to be a little bit of our focus over the next couple months, is really training you guys, giving you just enough to be dangerous marketers. to know what you're doing online, to know how to properly caption your photo, to know how to do, a really good opportunity video or a live or whatever. Now, that doesn't mean that all of them have to be perfectly curated and all this. Again, they're tools. Just because you have a hammer in your toolbox doesn't mean you need to eat with it, and doesn't mean you need to, wipe your butt with it. It's a tool, but it's a tool for the right thing. Like you don't need to use it for everything. But that is going to be a little bit of our focus, is turning you guys into marketers as well as networkers. Yeah, Caitlin, you don't need to turn into a full-blown influencer or anything like that. But we do want to turn you into a full-blown badass boss. So, I mean, take from it what you will, what you feel like you need to know. But I also know that like badass bosses who make lots of money don't go, I don't think I can learn that. That's a little bit over my pay. I don't really know. Nope. They go, what do I need to make that? Let me learn it. Let me do it. Right. I'm not saying it's not going to be like scarier. Sometimes you're not going to be like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Like, I feel like I'm never going to learn this. But if you want that check that you calculated for yourself at the beginning of this Zoom, then these are things that I highly suggest doing, because we're just seeing a new trend where the people who made a lot of money in network marketing doing it one way, it worked. It absolutely did. No one's refuting that. But where we're going, that's not what's going to work then, right? How we used to make butter is not how we do it now, right? How we used to get to and from places horses is not how we do it now. How we used to do certain things is not how we do it now. Doesn't mean it was ineffective then. It worked great then, but it doesn't now, or where we are going. And that's what we don't want to do, is we don't want to take all this time to suggest all these skills to you guys, like, post and do all these things and whatever. And then the new wave of network marketing comes and you're like, I'm being attacked by moths. And not right now. And sorry, got distracted by moths and my son. Anyway, we want to make sure that you're not learning the skills now that won't be applicable to you in the future. So we're really trying to help you guys future-proof your business, leverage, get more time back so that you're not feeling burnt out and you're not defeated by things that aren't working, essentially. So I am super ready to end September strong and to go into October excited, with new tactics, new approach. The couple of us are getting together tomorrow to come up with like a month plan, where some of us are going to just kind of pre-plan out some things, like either promos or activities or trainings, so we can get ahead of it and we're not playing catch up. So we feel like we can serve you guys better. So that's one thing that we, as some of us leaders, are changing, is we're not going to have the wing it method anymore. We're going to kind of plan a little bit better, and see how that works for us. So I encourage you guys tonight, tomorrow, come up with a plan for October that is something that you can stick with, something that you feel is also a little bit challenging, and then make a commitment to stick to it. Because only when we do that, like I think I made a post a couple days ago, that your success is directly proportionate to the ratio in which you can keep promises to yourself. That's a loose quote from who is Alicia? The guy who wrote Unfuck Yourself or something, Gary something or other. I don't know. She loves him. So, but I do remember that quote from that book. Bishop, Gary Bishop. It just hit. That was the one thing. I mean, I took away a lot of things. That was one thing I was like, ooh, hit me right there. Because someone was like calling me out. I feel triggered. But anyway, I'll go ahead and let you guys go. If nobody has any questions, thank you for hopping on. And thank you guys all so much for being willing, open, coachable, and, just excited to do and try new things, even if they're really scary, and trusting us to lead you through them to the other side, knowing that we have your best interest at heart, because we do, promise. But anyway, as always, love you guys, and I'll catch you in the chats. Bye.